Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing an oil change on the BMW X5, so let's make a start.
This is a 5-step process, with the first step making sure you have everything you need to perform the oil change. Here are the parts you'll need. I've put the BMW part numbers in the description of this video, along with links to everything else I found useful when performing this oil change. When ordering BMW parts, check prices online before ordering them from your local BMW dealership. I ended up ordering mine on eBay from another BMW dealership, which even after postage still saved me over £70. First thing to do if your engine is cold is to run it for a few minutes to get some heat into it. Oil drains faster when warm, and it also means any contaminants are suspended in the oil before you drain it. Next, if you have air suspension, you can raise the car to its highest setting, which will allow you to change the oil without needing to jack up the car. I like BMW's attention to detail in making a display animation for this. It's even in the same colour as my X5. Once the oil is warm enough, this cold message will disappear, then you can switch off the engine. Now you need to remove the sump plug and let the oil drain out. The sump plug is located here, just behind the front axle. There is usually a service flap covering the oil drain plug. Mine has either fallen out or BMW forgot to reattach it last time they serviced the car. This is the part number to order a replacement if you find yours is also missing. I've fitted it to the car to show you how to remove it. There's a little tab in the middle of the rounded side. You'll need to push it towards the centre of the flap whilst at the same time trying to pull it down. I found it more effective to get my nails under that side, then wiggle it out, making sure not to snap the two hinge tabs located on the opposite side. With the plastic flap removed, you should now be able to see the sump plug. The sump plug uses a 17mm socket, and you'll need a little extension bar so it reaches past the metal under tray. Once you've loosened the sump plug bolt, move the draining tray underneath before completely removing the plug. It takes around 10 minutes for the oil to fully drain, so whilst this is happening, pop the bonnet and make a start on removing the old oil filter. The oil filter is located here. To get better access to the filter, it's best to remove the engine cover. You simply pull it upwards until it pops off the 4 mounts that you can see here. Next, surround the oil filter with rags or towels. I wouldn't recommend overlooking this step. The filter is soaked in oil and it's almost a guarantee it will drip when you remove it. This area is a pain to clean, so it's best not to have to clean it in the first place. The oil filter housing takes a 32mm socket. Once you've loosened the cap, just hold it above the housing, then grab another towel or rag to catch oil underneath it when you remove it from the engine bay. As a final check, mop up any oil around the outside of the oil filter housing before it starts to run down the sides. The oil filter cartridge is clipped into the cap, so grab both parts and pull them apart to release. The new filter comes in two bags, one for the cartridge and the other containing the oil filter cap O-ring and sump plug crush washer. Just double check the oil filter cartridge matches the one you are removing and orientate it in the same way to make sure you insert it correctly. On this model, one opening is larger than the other, so it should only go in one way anyway. Next, using some oil from the existing filter, lubricate the oil rings on the new oil filter cartridge. There's one on the inside of the end which clips back into the oil filter cap. Then two on the bottom of the filter cartridge, one on the outside and one on the inside. Now remove the old O-ring that seals the oil filter cap. Use a small flathead screwdriver to gently remove it from its groove, making sure not to scratch the plastic cap with the screwdriver. Lubricate the new O-ring before placing it back into the cap. When you install it, make sure the O-ring is not twisted. You can do this by running your fingers around it like I'm doing here. Now clip the new filter into the cap. It will click once it's in place. Reinstall the new filter, slide it into the housing, then screw it in by hand, making sure you don't cross-thread it. When you can no longer turn it by hand, use a ratchet for more leverage, then finish tightening with a torque wrench. This oil filter cap should be torqued to 25 Newton meters, which is about 18.5 foot-pounds. Give the oil filter housing one last wipe down to make sure it's spick and span. With the oil sump plug bolt, remove the old crush washer and then wipe the bolt clean. Now put on the new crush washer ready to install it into the sump. Give the oil sump a quick wipe first. Then screw in the sump plug bolt, first by hand, as this reduces the chance of cross-threading. Use a torque wrench to tighten the oil drain plug to 25 Newton meters, which is the same torque as the oil filter cap. Then reattach the service flap by inserting the 2 clips in first, then pushing it flat to close it. Now to fill it back up with oil. Remove the oil filter cap and insert a funnel if you have one. It takes 6.5 litres of oil. Make sure when you are filling it up that you don't pour it in too fast, otherwise it can bubble out of the filler hole and make a mess. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before I put in the last half litre, I'm just going to check the fill level first. Now this appears to be one of the few engines built nowadays that actually still has a physical dipstick to measure the oil level. So with 6 litres in, it's not quite at the max fill level. And one more time to double check. You can see it's here. Now I already had a half litre measured out in this bottle, otherwise make sure you use the gauge on the side of the bottle to put in the correct amount. Now I've put that in, the gauge is reading at max. Perfect. With all the new oil in the engine, replace the filler cap. The sound deadening under the engine trim cover looks a little dusty, so I'm just going to give it a quick wipe. Then to finish, refit the engine trim cover by pushing it back onto the mounting tips. The final step is to reset the oil service warning in the car. First you need to put the car into diagnostic mode by pressing the start-stop button 3 times in quick succession like so. The dash will then confirm it is now in diagnostic mode. Next, hold down the BC button for about 15 seconds until the dash updates to display what is possible to reset. Once the dash updates, release the BC button. I also need to perform a brake fluid reset on the car, but I'm not going to reset that now, so I press the BC button to skip to the next option. Now it is displaying the engine oil reset, so hold down the BC button again until it prompts to confirm the reset, then let go of the button. Hold the BC button in again until it performs the reset. Once the reset is complete, the dash will update to show the new date and mileage interval, which for the X5 30D is 13,000 miles or 2 years, whichever arrives soonest. You can also see that the engine oil service has been added in iDrive. From the menu, select Car, Vehicle Status, Service Requirements. Here you can see the log for the engine oil service and that I still need to perform the brake fluid service. To measure the engine oil using iDrive, tap back, then go into engine oil level. Now tap engine oil level measurement. The option to measure the oil level is disabled at present because the engine is not up to normal operating temperature. You can see here the engine is still cold, so let's check again once it's warmed up.
A few moments later.
Now the engine has warmed up, let's go back into iDrive. Tap Menu, then tap Car, Vehicle Status, Engine Oil Level, Engine Oil Measurement, then tap Start Measurement. It usually takes just under a minute to complete. In the meantime, it raises the engine revs from around 750 RPM to 1000 RPM. Like the marking on the dipstick, this gauge also shows it at max.
Well guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing's free and it just means any future videos I release will automatically show up on your feed without you having to search for them. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you on the next video.